Okay, today we are going to be looking at our weekly review, week 8. If we look at number 1, it says an expression is given. Remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. It says enter values to create an equivalent expression. So I have one box for my x and one box for my constant. So in order to create an equivalent expression, remember we are looking to combine like terms. So I'm going to look at my like terms. I have a variable here and I have a variable here. Remember, you need to box the sign to the left. And then I have constants here and a constant there. And then I'm going to make my t-chart with my variables and with my constants. My variables, I have negative 3x and I have positive 11x. And for my constants, I have 7 and I have negative 2. Remember, the word combine means I am adding these terms together. So negative 3 plus 11 gives me 7x. And 7 minus 2 gives me 5. And then remember, if it's a positive, there's a plus sign out here, so I get 7x plus 5. So an equivalent expression is 7x plus 5. Number 2 says which expression is equivalent to negative 3 parentheses 2n minus 1/3 close parentheses minus 5n. So in order to do this, remember we need to distribute first. I need to get rid of whatever's in those parentheses to then combine my like terms. So I do negative 3 times 2n, which gives me negative 6n. If you need to box what's in those parentheses so that you know what sign follows. And then I have negative 3 times 1/3, or times negative 1/3. A negative times a negative gives me positive. And then we should have gotten positive 1. And then I did not touch this, so I'm going to have minus 5n. Then, just like we did in number 1, we are going to combine our like terms. So I need to box any like terms. So these two both contain the variable n, and then this one is what we call a constant. There is no variable, it is just a number with it. And then remember, you know you are done boxing when there are no signs left to the left. No signs left to the left. Okay, now I'm going to make my table. I have my variable n, and I have my constants. And with my variable, I have negative 6n, and I have negative 5n, and with my constant, I have positive 1. Remember, combining like terms means we are adding those together. Negative 6 plus negative 5, we're going negative both times. If my signs are the same, remember, I can add them together, and I get 11n, and then carry the sign down. So I have negative 11n, and then I have no other constant, so I'm just leaving plus 1. Now we can look over here. This says n plus 1. Nope, we have negative 11n, so this one does not work. n minus 1/3. Nope. Negative 11n, okay, that works. Minus 1/3. Nope, we got plus 1, so this one does not work. And then negative 11n plus 1, negative 11n plus 1. So your answer should be D. Next, we are going to look at number 3. Number 3 says select the two expressions that are equivalent. It's already telling us how many expressions I'm going to select. So first of all, let's combine like terms, and let's get rid of these parentheses to then be able to combine my like terms. I have 4 times 1/8 x. That should give me 1/2 x. I have 4 times negative 1, which gives me negative 4. This is a negative 1/2 times 2/3 x, which gives me negative 1/3 x. And last but not least, negative 1/2 times, remember this is a negative 6, which gives me positive 3. Now, I want to combine like terms. So I have a variable, and I have another variable, and I have a constant and a constant. So let's make our t-chart for my x and for my constants. My x's, I have 1/2 x, and I have negative 1/3 x. For my constant, I have negative 4 and positive 3, and then I'm going to add these together. 1/2 x minus 1/3 x gives me 1/6 x, and negative 4 plus 3 gives me negative 1. So it says select two expressions, so I'm going to go through the line and we're going to say why it does or does not work. The first one, I have 1/2 x, okay, I see 1/2 x minus 4, love it, minus 1/3 x minus 3, okay. So when we combine like terms, we got positive 3. So it does not work because this needed to be a positive or an addition, not a subtraction. Let's look at number 2. It says 1/2 x minus 4 minus 1/3 x plus 3. Okay, that one looks like it works. Let's see. Then next we have 1/6 x. So these terms are already combined. I have 1/6 x minus 7. The minus 7 is not what we got, so this one does not work. I have 1/6 x minus 1. I think that one works. Let's double check the last one. 1/6 x plus 5. I got minus 1, so that one does not work. And we can check that these are correct because I got two possible expressions that are equivalent. Okay, let's look at number 4, maybe. It says, a baker is making rolls and loaves of bread. For every 14 rolls, I'm going to underline that, he uses 2.75 cups of flour. For every 5 loaves of bread, he uses 5.5 cups of flour. Right there, I can see that they're both using flour. That might be important. And then it says he makes 10 loaves of bread. So let's read what it says. It says the baker uses the same amount of flour for the rolls as he does for the loaves of bread. How many rolls does he make? So my question I'm trying to figure out is how many rolls he makes. I know how much flour they make, or how much flour makes this amount of rolls, but all I know is that they make 10 loaves of bread. So let's set up some proportions and see if this will help us solve. So with my first clue, I have my units of rolls and I have my units of flour. Remember, we're going to make that T-chart to see the proportional relationship. And it says for every 14 rolls, he uses 2.75 cups of flour. Okay, that's probably important, but it's not really helping us figure out how many rolls he makes with 10 loaves of bread. So let's see what our clue 2 says. For every 5 loaves of bread, so our first unit is loaves, he uses 5.5 cups of flour, so my second unit is flour. So for 5 loaves of bread, he uses 5.5 cups of flour. Okay, if we know that these are going to be the same value, so they're using the same amount of flour, then I just need to figure out how much flour they're going to use here. So we know that he made 10 loaves of bread, so I can put my 10 with my loaves of bread. And then remember, in order to figure out how to get from 5 to 10, if you don't know, you're going to take 10 divided by 5, which gives us 2. So I know I need to multiply by 2 to get 10. 5 times 2 gives me 10. That's how we know we are correct. And whatever I do to the top side, I also have to do to the bottom. So 5.5 times 2 gives me 11. That is telling me that they are using 11 cups of flour. So then I can plug this 11 into my rolls. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to get from 2.75 to 11. So I'm going to take 11 and I'm dividing by 2.75, and that gives me 4. So I know to get from 2.75 to 11, I need to multiply by 4. Whatever I do to that bottom, I need to do to that top, so I need to multiply by 4 here. And then 14 times 4 gives me 56. So we know if they use the same amount of flour, so they both use 11 cups of flour, then we will have 56 rolls. And last but not least, let's look at question number 5. It says an item an item costs M dollars. The expression 1.08 M represents the total price of the item in dollars, including sales tax. So this expression is my entire price. It says to better show the percent of sales tax, the expression can be written as 1 plus 0.08 times M. So my M, let's just figure out what these things are. I'm going to rewrite it. My M, it says, is my item's cost. This 1, I don't necessarily know what that represents, and I don't necessarily know what this represents, but if I know I'm calculating for sales tax, we know we are using whatever my tax is times my item cost. So for this, I would know that 1 is representing my entire percent, so that 1 is representing 100%. So then this 0.8 is representing my percent increase. Remember, percent increase can also be my sales tax, because a tax is an increase of money. Then it's asking what percent is the sales tax. Well, I just figured out the sales tax as a decimal is 0.08. And to get that into percent form, I need to multiply by 100, which gives me, I'm going to write it down there, a total sales tax of 8%. If you have any questions, ask Miss Banky or I. Once you have finished this, please turn it into the tray and have a great rest of your day.